All right. I guess we're going to start. Episode 10, dude.
Number
Double digits. Hell
Milestone.
yeah. Hell yeah. Double digit.
Heck yeah, dude. 10 episodes. Wow. We're just changing the world,
Will
aren't
you
we?
pull that wire right there where I'm trying to close this?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, episode 10. Welcome. Up a creek with two paddles. I'm Austin.
Up a creek. I'm Blake with two paddles. We're not hogging all the paddles, but, we got a couple. Just a couple. We're not being selfish over here, hogging all the paddles.
What?
Anyway, we were talking about, before we turned the camera on, about, access to sexual images in, before, pre-internet and post-internet, because we kind of experienced it pre-internet.
I feel like I can't really speak on it.
Yeah.
Because I felt by the time I was really hitting puberty, I had pretty good access to the internet.
You had your phone that you could get
yeah.
online, or you had a computer that you could use, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. But
It's
there
so
was
weird.
the fear of hiding the search history, and I always used to think that.
Oh, I got caught a couple times for sure.
I used to think that because I was looking it up on a phone plan that my parents paid for, that they could see all of my internet history without even having to have my phone. I thought they could go through Verizon and be like, look at what this boy's watching.
I wonder if they could, if they really.
I was
wanted to.
legitimately scared of that.
I don't
back
think
in the
so.
day. No, I don't think that's possible. The government could do it. but
Yeah.
I don't think your mom can just be like, tell me everything that phone's looked up.
It's a server, so it
It would have some memory of it.
Yeah, it serves your device.
I wonder how long that storage lasts, because it can't just hold indefinite data.
Infinite, yeah.
Maybe 30 days. Maybe they keep a backlog of the last 30 days of history on every server
That's
or something.
interesting. I have no clue.
And then there's cookies.
I don't know. These big tech companies buy up land purposefully to build places where they store information like that.
Yeah, that's wild.
You know what I mean? They build facilities that are for digital media storage.
So me personally, just doing these videos and recording music and doing a little bit of graphic design, I can fill up a single terabyte pretty easily. So dude, there's must be masses and masses of storage areas where they just hold all this data.
Oh God, yeah.
God.
Yeah. Because my brother has I'm not really a gamer, but my brother is a heavy gamer, and he has the external hard drive for his Xbox that's 1 terabyte.
Yeah.
Because some of these games are
200
several
gigs.
hundred gigs, right? Yeah. So, man, that's fucking wild.
And what's nice is you can do. Haven't been on PlayStation in a while, but with Xbox you can do cloud gaming, where you don't have to install the physical game or digital game onto your console. You can just basically stream play it. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to have the 100. I've been playing Forza a lot lately. Forza is 170 gigabytes. And I don't have that available on my Xbox, but you just cloud game it and just literally play it through
Forza
the internet.
is sick as fuck.
I've been playing the shit out of Forza.
That's a fun game.
I think Forza 5. I don't know. It's not the latest one.
That's a fun motherfucking game. We used to play me, Grant and Ryan. We used to have so much fun just gaming together, just being stupid and playing video games. We used to play what was it? MX versus ATV.
Oh, that was the shit.
We used to play that
I love that game.
We played the original Call of Duties a lot. We played Forza a lot.
Played Forza. Me and Quinn play Rocket League a lot.
Yeah, that was post. I had stopped gaming by that point.
Dude, I love games. Games are the shit. I want a PC.
I'm fucking weird. I don't know why I never got into that, because it's such a ubiquitous thing.
You said, you were into it, and a lot of people our age kind of fell off of it.
But I stopped in high school. I stopped basically not because I think it's bad or anything, just because I just
other shit to do.
Yeah, and it just never really took to me.
Bro, when Fortnite came out at first, I was hooked.
Fortnite.
I was hooked on Fortnite.
Dude, that was one of the most popular games ever, right?
It still is. But I started in the first season, and then by season 5, I was like, this is stupid. I'm done with this. This is way too difficult.
And see, by that point, I was in college when that game came out, and all my friends had been gaming for so long, and like I tried to play Fortnite a couple times, and like my skills were so lacking.
Fortnite's really difficult.
Just for like gaming controls in general that I couldn't even really.
Yeah.
Like everybody else
Fortnite,
was so good, I would get killed so fast.
Right. Well, I mean, even like me, who still plays video games on a regular basis, Fortnite is so fast paced, especially nowadays. Same way with Rocket League. Like you could hop on Forza right now and play no problem.
Right.
Because those are easy. It's not a fast paced type of control thing. You just got to get used to driving the car.
But when you're doing shooter, like first person
Shooters
shooter,
or like,
third person shooters,
and Fortnite has the whole other level of building, and motherfuckers can spin around and build a house around them in a second, less than like a millisecond, just like walls all around them. I was pretty good for a little bit, but dude, those kids just took over.
Ridiculous.
They took over.
Man, that's crazy. That's some of the best players in the world are kids, right? Like on some of all the games.
Yeah, for sure.
Kids are just fucking nasty.
Probably like 12 to like 18.
Isn't that wild?
And then, well, I mean, that's when you're the most. Your brain's the most malleable. That's when you can learn skills the quickest.
That's a good point. And you don't have any responsibility.
Right.
For
you
the
just
most
do
part.
it all day, every day.
You have parents and most people.
Made
Sorry,
some
guys.
assumptions.
Anyway, yeah, that's so weird.
Yeah,
like,
I love video games. I still think like there's a huge. I don't see video games as bad at all.
No.
I know you're not saying that.
No, they're cool. I mean, obviously, they're such a people love them.
Yeah,
You know, they love
and
'em
some
for
of
a
it can be
reason.
super educational. Like,
Yeah. And like you hear about hand-eye coordination, kids with like fucking crazy hand-eye coordination because of video games, and it's like that's so wild. And like I'll see it in Grant. Like Grant can manipulate a controller just in ways that I couldn't dream of.
Right.
Because he's been like holding that controller every day for years.
Yeah.
And not me.
God, you made me want to go play Forza. It's so fun, man. It's so much fun.
That's wild.
It sucks because like,
And you don't have to like buy a car, and you can still get a similar. It's not a similar experience, but it's. You see what I'm saying? Though? It makes it so much kind of experience so much more accessible.
And then there's the difference between the cars, and you can really get a feel for how different things work. But it's funny because I've probably played like the first 10% of the campaign, and then I got enough money to start fixing my cars up. And now every time I log on, I just drag race strangers. That's all I do.
Really?
Yeah.
like online.
Yeah. Because there's like a main like meeting hub, and there's a drag strip there, and a lot of people will just hang around that area, and you just pull up to the drag strip and beep your horn 3 times and drag race. It's so much fun.
That's cool.
And then I'll start at like my lowest level. Modified drag racing car. I got like a little old Fox body Mustang, like the 80s models.
Yeah.
And I got that thing souped up. It goes 0 to 60. I mean, I'm talking like it's my car. It's 0 to 60
I can't even imagine
and like
what an 80s Mustang looks like.
Like the boxy ones, the really boxy ones. The old, they almost look like the Tauruses did back then.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I love that model. But
dude, have you seen that new Toyota sports car that just came out?
not the Supra. Supra's been out for like 5 years.
No,
now,
I think
the
it's
new
a new. I
Supra.
think it's a new car. I can't remember what kind it is, but it's a sweet little sports car. And I was like, it's like because I saw it from a distance.
Yeah.
It is the second time I've seen one. Because I think it just came out like this year or last year.
I don't know.
And,
I'm curious about that.
But I thought it was a Lexus. I was like, damn, that looks like a Lexus. And then I got up close. Yeah, right. It's they're a subsidiary of Toyota. But I got up close to it and I was like, damn, that's a fucking Toyota. That thing looks pretty sick. It looks like it's fun to drive. It's like a little 2-door sports car with a tiny little back
GR86.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, that's like the.
I think so. Let me see it.
Yeah, that's like the Scion. Oh.
It kind of looks similar to a Scion.
Yeah. I know. This the same one because a few years ago they had that model, and Scion and Subaru put out the exact same model, but they just branded it differently.
Yeah, I've seen a Subaru that looks similar. Yeah.
I think Quinn's mom had one for a while.
Oh, really?
Those things are super like little sporty cars. Those are fun. I'd
and
like
I
to have one
assume
of
it's
those.
a good quality because it's Toyota.
Yeah, I've only heard good things. I have heard that the Scion can be a little bit more hit or miss than just standard Toyota, but I'm not sure about that.
Wait, Scion's owned by Toyota too?
Yeah, it's like a Toyota Scion.
Oh, okay.
But it's like I don't know, like a certain like package or like I don't know how that works.
Because they make the Scion TC. I know that.
Yeah, that's Toyota.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
What happened with Ram and Dodge? I'm so confused.
Are they separated now?
Yeah, I think like
Was it just a marketing thing?
doesn't GM own Dodge?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
I think GM basically bought out Ram from underneath Dodge to make it in a completely separate. Like there's Dodge and then there's Ram.
Well, I think right because you can buy like a Dodge Charger,
Yeah.
right? But their Ram line is their truck line.
Right.
So
but nowadays it's not Dodge. It's just GM Ram.
Oh, okay. So they bought the Ram from Dodge.
Right.
Okay.
I believe
I
so.
follow.
I'm not going to look it up. I believe that's what happened.
No,
though.
check it for yourself, kids.
I think GM bought it out from under the umbrella of Dodge.
Right. That's so weird. You wouldn't
Which
even think
it does
about
seem
that.
super weird, but maybe it's a marketing thing. Maybe the people at the higher ups at GM are like, Dodge isn't marketing this as well as we could if we had it in its own line or something. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely got to be marketing, I would imagine. But it seems weird because we've always had Dodge, Ford, and Chevy for domestic trucks. And now we don't have that anymore. I don't know. It's just weird. It just feels strange. It feels like a weird move.
Well, I think all Dodge trucks were Rams, right? It was a Dodge Ram. Or no, because they
I'm
made
actually not sure about that.
I drove a Dodge Dakota that wasn't a Ram.
Yeah, so that's not a Ram.
Yeah, I don't think.
So I wonder if they're still going to have the smaller trucks be under the umbrella of Dodge.
I don't even know.
You know?
I wonder if they still make the Dakota.
I don't know. I wish they would bring back small trucks. Like I'm glad they brought back the Ford Ranger, but it's barely smaller than an F-150.
Yeah,
I like smaller trucks. I really like the Nissan
that new one, Frontier.
The Frontiers look really nice.
The new Frontiers are dope.
Like
Those look good.
I like the old Chevy like S10s, just the tiny little. I like small trucks. Small trucks are cool. You get the gas mileage of a car, but then you get you get a bed and you get a little bit more power.
Little
4x4
compact truck. Easier
know.
to drive in the city too.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like the size of that one. Like, I wouldn't want to get for me personally. I don't have any need for anything much bigger than that.
And that's a crew cab Silverado.
Yeah, that's a crew cab 1500.
So crew cab is 4-door. Extended cab is like a half back, right?
An extended cab has like 4 full doors, and it's like a little bit more legroom in the back. And I think
so. Extended's bigger than crew cab.
No,
extended cab's where it has like the
cab.
half.
Right, I have the extended cab. You're right, which is like the little half door in the back that opens backwards.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's extended cab. And then you're right, crew cab is the 4-door with a lot of legroom. The bigger trucks with the full 4 doors. Yeah, I think. Yeah, that sounds right.
Extended cab versus crew cab. Extended cabs have 2 rows of seats that have 3 seats each. Crew cabs has 2 rows of seats that have 3 seats each. Crew cabs will have 6 seats, but that's the same definition for extended cabs because it says 2 rows of seats that have 3 seats each. But it says extended cabs may or may not have back doors. Crew cabs always are 4-door.
Okay.
So, yeah. So when you see like the trucks, it's obviously not just one window. It's not just the 2, but there's like a little back window, but it's only 2 doors. It's like a little.
Yeah.
Some of those have that little like flip out seat in the back that are
Right.
like you sit like sideways, all cramped.
Yeah, like my little Colorado.
Yeah.
But it still has that's an extended cab, but it has that back door.
Right.
But it has those tiny little bitch ass seats.
Yeah,
in
that's
the back.
an extended cab. Crew cab can comfortably fit
That's a crew cab
for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, you got to get full 4 doors. Like I'm never.
I wish that I would have gotten a Camry instead of that. I love my car, but dude, 4 doors is so convenient.
So much better.
It's so convenient. But as a teenager, you're like, I want a coupe. I want a little 2-door. It's sportier. It's cooler. It's like, you bought a Camry. It's not cool or sporty.
No, but that's a little more sporty than the Camry for sure.
Yeah.
Like that one's a little bit more slick.
I like the new Camrys that are built.
Oh, they look so good, dude.
And the ones that have like the TRD package, the Toyota Racing Department or whatever it's called.
The spoiler on the back.
A little bit of a spoiler. It's a little bit nicer of a trim. A little bit nicer wheels typically on those.
They look good for sure.
I really like how those look.
Yeah. I know those are. I know they're badass, little badass cars.
You saw Anna's Civic out there.
Mm-hmm.
I like those.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like how plasticky they get, and they got a lot of, like, they tried to make them look sportier than they are by, like, beefing them up and giving them a spoiler and all the plastics on it.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I still kind of, like, I hate to admit, I still kind of like the look of those.
Yeah, I'm going the Camry all day.
What would be, I can't remember, did I ask you this on the podcast
What?
last week or not? What would be your dream car? No, I think we were just talking about that.
My dream car, I would say
Because I say Ford Raptor for sure.
Ford Raptor's
Like,
a fucking great choice.
If I could only get one, and it would be like the most practical dream car. Obviously, I'd love like a fucking Ferrari, Lambo, Bugatti, anything like that. I could consider a dream car. But if I had the money, what would I actually buy?
At
The first
moment,
thing I would buy if I had the money would be a Ford Raptor.
That's a great choice. At the moment, just to be different than you, I will probably pick this souped up, and some people are going to hate this, Jeep truck.
Yeah.
4-door Jeep truck. That's probably like a badass lifted, maybe
Yeah.
like 3-inch lift, 30-inch tires. You know what I'm saying?
I love
like
the
something
Jeep
like
trucks.
that.
I just I wouldn't be willing to put up with the Jeep reliability issues.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah,
also like,
If I can get whatever I want. that's-
yeah. Or I'll take it back.
I just like the way they look.
First of all, the new, like, I forget, or like TRX or the souped up version of the Rams, the like trail bosses or whatever nowadays. Those look really good. But I forgot about the new Tundra. I might pick a new Tundra before I even got a Raptor.
Fucking ass, dude.
I would get a Tundra before I got a Raptor.
They look so much better than the old ones.
I hated the
Look
way that
so
like
much better.
that curved, it like drooped down. It just it looked disproportionate.
The last body style was fucking terrible. Like, how could they hit such a home run with the Tacoma, same time period,
or the Tacoma,
and the shape of the Tundra was so much worse. It was terrible.
The Tacoma hasn't went through a significant change in body style in over a decade.
Right.
It's wild. They've just been rolling with that.
The Tundra has changed quite a bit over the years. Like since 2000,
because
like
it used
early
to just kind of
2000.
look like a bigger Tacoma, and then it really switched to having all the like that rounded, almost Dodge looking front, and then now it almost looks like a Silverado.
Yeah, right. Yeah, my dad had the 2004 crew cab Tundra, and it was like a little bit bigger than the Tacomas.
Yeah.
Now, the Tacomas are now.
Yeah.
Like it was like is crazy. Like how much bigger the Tundra got, and then they've kind of trimmed it back down.
I will say I would love a Jeep pre like all the electronic bullshit, like the old school, like the ones your parents sold, or was it Shane's?
The orange one.
Yeah.
It was a 97 Safari.
Ooh, those are perfect.
It was so
those
sweet.
are, and like those are easy to work on. The new Jeep, it's so everything's driven by electronics, and it's so frustrating.
Back then, they still put V8s in them. They don't put V8s in them anymore.
Yeah.
Like they used to put big fucking, big engine in that motherfucker.
Yeah. But yeah, I've heard the electronics in a like. Why are you going to make literally a vehicle that is intended to get beat to shit, and you're going to make like all of its systems rely on the electronics not failing? Like I'm pretty sure, like literally, there's a bunch of complaints about Jeep owners where their electronics go out and they literally can't start the car. It's like that sucks. That sucks. But then again, I mean, I'm almost against all the electronic bullshit that's been put in the cars lately. It's so frustrating.
I think the new ones are pushed to start anyway.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
there's no
I
backup
got
plan.
to drive one when that motherfucker hit me in Colombia, and I had to get a rental car.
Mm-hmm.
They got
You got a
paid
Jeep
for
truck?
it. Yeah, they gave me a
awesome.
4-door Jeep truck. I got to drive it for like 2-3 weeks.
Nobody calls it a Gladiator. It's a Jeep truck.
Yeah, right. It's a yeah.
How funny would it be if they literally named it the Jeep truck?
Yeah. That's funny. But yeah, I got to drive one for a couple weeks. It was fun to drive. Dude.
Yeah.
It was fun to drive.
I mean, I love how they look, man. They look so badass, dude.
And I love how you can it's so easy to take those 2 top panels off the driver's seats. Like if it's not a fucking.
It's almost like a T-top, isn't it?
Kind of. Very similar to a T-top. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. It was fun.
So that'd be my dream practical car would for sure be at like
A Raptor is one of the most practical cars you can ever, because you
yeah.
can literally do any. You can race, you can
Yeah.
off road, you can fucking
You've got
boulder
the power
crawl.
to do anything you
can
want.
fucking do anything. Yeah.
That or a Tundra, new Tundra. But then like if it was like just like supercar, dream car. Oh man, that's a different story. I don't know. The Lambo, like the Hurricanes, those are fucking dope.
Just to be different, I feel like I would want to drive like a Ford GT or something.
Ford GTs are cool. I like the Pagani. Is it the Zonda or the Huayra?
I don't know about that one.
Pagani. It's like it's a little bit more niche of a brand for sure. Ferrari, the I can't remember the model number. They're beautiful cars. But like
They'll leave you
I don't know.
stranded.
I don't really want to support Ferrari either. They're a bunch of bitches.
How so?
They just don't like they really get upset when people use their cars in the unintended ways. There's like it's just a bunch of bullshit. Like they've literally
You mean like they were trying to fly it or something?
no, like literally like
I'm sorry.
like if you do a paint scheme on your car, on your Ferrari that Ferrari is not approving, they'll like sue you for it.
What the fuck?
It's fucking retarded. I'm sorry, it's bad. It's not cool. But yeah, so I wouldn't want to support Ferrari. Plus, the whole story of Lambo is way cooler because the dude was just making tractors, and like he went to Ferrari and was like, "Bro, we should work together. I can make some dope ass engines." And Ferrari was like, "You make tractors, fuck off." And then Lamborghini was like, "All right. Well, I know what I'm doing. Know what I'm committing the rest of my life to try and do," and he fucking did it. And
I mean, it's as if it's not the same basic mechanics that
and
fucking make it happen.
Lamborghini is, in my opinion, is way more badass.
They're so much cooler.
The Ferrari is much more classy and just nice, and like you want to drive a Ferrari in a suit.
Right, it's elegant.
Yeah,
but
Elegant,
Lambos
way,
are
but
mean.
just mean and
Lambos
aggressive
are mean. It's
and
like,
badass.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The body style is way more like Predator like.
Yeah, it's angular
instead of a gazelle.
shaped
Instead of a gazelle like.
Right.
Weird.
That is so true. If all cars lived in nature, the Lambo is for sure the lion. The Ferrari is 100% a gazelle.
Right.
And then the Ford Raptor is like a rhino.
Oh, it's so weird to think about. Oh man, golly. Well,
I don't know if anybody really cares about cars, but
I don't know very much about cars, to be honest.
I've probably seen every episode of Top Gear before it went on to Amazon.
So do you think that they 100% like fucked with like Tesla, right?
They weren't honest.
I'm sure they did that with a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
But it's like it's a TV show.
Like the whole bit about the 3-wheeled car, the Reliant Robin, and every time they'd take a corner, it'd flip over. They're not nearly that bad. They're actually a lot harder to flip than they made them out. They have a safety feature that apparently the Top Gear crew took out of theirs in order to make it seem like it flips a lot easier.
Oh my, that's kind of fucked, man.
It is a little bit fucked up because with the draw they have, they totally have the potential to shut down a company.
Of course they do.
Yeah, so it's a little sketchy.
But it's weird that they don't even like pretend to acknowledge it, because you would think the way they talk about cars, they talk about them like the way they talk about the engines when they're presenting the car and like the suspension or the body style. You know what I mean? They talk about all these things like in a very professional way.
Right.
So you would think they would be like being honest. They kind of make it seem like they're being scientific and trying to test these cars, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of disingenuous, to be honest.
For sure.
But BBC's not known to be like.
And that was also a long time
we're
ago.
the truthers. You know what I mean? Like that's not how.
I doubt they're doing that nowadays with their Amazon show, if that's still going on, the Grand Tour or whatever it's
called. Did they move it to America?
The regular Top Gear, there was an American version, but the Grand Tour on Amazon, what they've been doing, they actually traveled around. They filmed in different locations and set up like this whole tent, and then they had like bits about that. Like the whole thing was like they made fun of their surroundings, and they used like the windows in the tent to make jokes and shit. I mean, it was okay, but
I've watched a lot of episodes of Top Gear. I like the ones where they do like the cross country in South America,
the challenges,
Africa.
the like cheap car challenges and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Those are
like
always really interesting.
overland challenges and shit.
I always like those. Those are for sure the most entertaining.
Dude, I was damn it.
What?
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, I can't remember what exactly they did to Tesla. What did they? What did
I don't remember. I just think they bashed on it a lot. Have you seen the new Fisker that I keep seeing advertisements for? It's a new electronic car. It's by Fisker.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
You know what happened to the old Fisker and why you haven't seen a car from Fisker? There was like a whole lot of cars that apparently got like, I don't know, rained on, or it might have been ocean water. I'm not exactly sure, but literally like a lot of like 100 Fisker Karmas was the last version, all caught fire and burnt down the whole lot. I think because like it was like some.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Some like some salty mist from the sea apparently started getting into them, and like the whole lot just burnt to the ground.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I'm like, who's taking that risk on that new Fisker? You know, I don't. The track record is not really promising right there. I don't know who's taking the risk on that car when you've got so many other options.
A rich jackass, probably.
Like now you've got Tesla, you've got the Ions.
Does Lotus still make? Do they make electric cars back in the day?
I don't think so.
No. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
I don't know. They might have made like hybrids because I don't. For some reason, that does sound familiar, but I don't think
Lotus?
so.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't.
So it's weird though, because like I was thinking, just being in the environmental field, you think about like longevity and stuff and life cycles of products and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because like Tesla was sold as this, it's the green.
Yeah.
Right, and it doesn't burn fossil fuels, which is a plus. But like you don't necessarily account for the effects of mining.
Yeah, or where you're getting the electricity to charge it.
Right. Yeah.
I heard a stat that said India and China create more pollution and greenhouse gases than all other countries combined in the world right now.
And they're still using remedial forms of fossil fuel, like coal. They use a lot of coal
like,
and wood still,
which
is not nearly as efficient as gasoline or natural gas.
Which,
you know what I mean?
Like when you step out and look at the bigger picture, obviously it's nice to be as responsible as possible with our power. But if you left a light on, don't stress over it because America's not the problem right now.
I don't know about that because we're probably third.
I don't know because there's like Mexico. It's probably got a lot of pollution.
Mexico's pretty bad too. We have a lot more people than Mexico, I'm pretty sure, don't we?
I would imagine. I don't know what the population of Mexico is.
But regardless,
I'm not saying we're good, but obviously we're trying to make a lot of efforts towards actually pushing the change.
We think about it more.
But
we're more conscious.
Europe for sure is the best. I would imagine. Europe definitely. But then again, I mean, I don't know how much manufacturing is going on in Canada, so I don't know how much pollution they're putting into the air. They
have a big advantage with their public transportation system. But I mean, that still takes power to run too. And I don't think Tesla's bad, and I don't because you have to, if you diversify your sources, right? Like you have options,
right? Like
paper versus plastic. Maybe one's not better than the other necessarily because there's a lot that goes into producing both of those products, right? That both use resources
for sure.
But if you have two options, right, instead of just relying on one source, that's better than being reliant on just the one.
Yeah, yeah.
So even like we could come up with even more ways to power cars. You know what I mean? Like
I want to know how far we've come in the hydrogen fuel cell. Because I know that's a big thing where we just take hydrogen and the only byproduct is water vapor. So it's
nuclear powered cars. Like the way hybrid.
I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
The way hybrid cars work is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's a really, really cool system where once you get to idle, your idle will charge your battery.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking cool.
I think hybrids with solar panels will take off. I think that'll become a very big thing. Where like the solar panel on top of the car isn't what's driving the car. It just supports all of the electronics. It's almost like a secondary system where there's a computer in the car that's like, oh, it's sunny, let's run everything on the solar panel. But then you've still got the battery, and that way you're just like saving a little by little over time by mitigating some of the power through the sun.
You just use it for like auxiliary features like music and air conditioning and whatnot.
Yeah.
Air conditioning, I think, draws a lot of power, but
a huge amount, I would imagine.
But anyway, yeah. So I think we should, diversifying that source is important.
I would say so
for sure. Same thing with food. Like, don't be relying on two things.
Right.
Like, that's stupid. Diversify. Be flexible.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, speaking of nuclear engines, how crazy is it that like nuclear subs and nuclear aircraft carriers, like there's literally a nuclear power cell inside of our aircraft carriers that power it. And they get replaced every 50 years. The lifespan of an aircraft carrier is supposed to be 100 years. So in the span of that the life cycle of an aircraft carrier, it has one fuel change.
Is that real?
It has one fuel change.
Is that real?
Yeah.
That's fucking
crazy. I could have that off. Maybe the lifespan's supposed to be 50 years and it gets changed every 25. I might have doubled that in my head. Because that does seem more reasonable.
I get your point.
But yeah, over the entire lifespan of an aircraft carrier and the nuclear submarines, it gets a fuel change once. And
how old is the Yorktown?
I have no clue.
I wonder.
I have no clue. But
probably built it in the 50s.
Yeah, I saw that it was only $27 to tour it, and I haven't been there since I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And when you're like, you don't have to have a guided tour.
Yeah, you can just walk around.
You can just walk around. I was like, dude, I totally wish I would have looked that up.
Were you in Boy Scouts with me when we went? When we camped. We camped in the bunks.
We camped out on the aircraft carrier.
Right.
Yeah, there was a fire drill one night, and we all got woken up in the middle of the night, remember? Damn. And there was that buzzer that went off. Because we were in two different troops,
right? Sometime. We were in two different troops, maybe.
I was in 42 the whole time.
Okay, I was too.
Yeah,
42.
I was just in it for longer than you, for sure.
Troop 42. Yeah. I stopped. I stopped at like Boy Scout, like right before Boy Scout.
I stopped at Eagle Scout, or maybe the one below that. There's like Life Scout, Star Scout, Eagle Scout. I don't remember which comes first, Life Scout or Star Scout, but I stopped at the next one down from Eagle. Thank God. Yeah. Fuck Boy Scouts.
Yeah, it's kind of weird now, right? Like, just not our. I didn't have any experience like that.
No, of course.
Because Wade's mom and my dad were the troop leader.
My dad was a big time leader in the thing, and then there's but it's so shady how like the Greers, they just got merit badges for just because they just had their shit signed off on. Like you realize they did hardly the amount of work that a 9 leader's father did to get Eagle Scout.
About that, but
yeah, it was pretty fucked up, and it sucked because Brett got denied his Eagle Scout because his Eagle Scout project was to install a playground at our church, but the church was already kind of like ready for it, and like the whole timeline was there, and he basically started the project before he got approved for it to be his Eagle Scout project, and then finished the project and got denied his Eagle Scout, which is stupid. Which again is like, this whole system's obviously fucking shady, or else that wouldn't be going on. Don't you think?
That's kind of weird.
Don't you think? At the end of the day, he built a playground for a church.
That's weird.
You don't you started before it was approved, and now you don't get this thing you've been working for 18 years to accomplish. And I mean, obviously, at that point, you can reapply and do all this and go through the process again. But at that age, it's like, I'm done. I'm going to college and shit. Like, I'm not going to keep working on an Eagle Scout project.
Right.
And they would always throw like, it's easier to get jobs. It's easier to do this. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Unless you're going into the military, Eagle Scout means or forestry service.
Even if you're going in the military, really, I mean,
Eagle Scout doesn't mean anything.
I mean, they'll go into the military. I guess I'm sure it has some perks. I don't know.
I'm not saying it's useless. I definitely I know how to build a campfire and tie knots and do all that. But as a good father, you should teach your kid that anyway.
Dude, I saw a really cool method because I always fuck up because you know that fire I like to build where you stack.
Yeah.
Right. And I saw a cool method where this guy they would do the stack, like cross-section stack, biggest on bottom, build gradually and put kindling on top.
I've seen that.
And then
I think they call it the top-down method.
Yeah. So you start with small kindling on top and gradually grow to get bigger.
Yeah. I've just always done like the teepee style method, where you just kind of pyramid it up. But I know that's not the most efficient, and it can the lack of surface area can make it a little bit harder for the fire to catch the larger pieces. But dude, I'm talking shit on Boy Scouts, but I'm so thankful to have the skill set I have. You know, I don't want to.
I go camping very regularly. I mean, not very regular. I mean, like I try to go like at least 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah, I need to get back on that routine. But I mean, we've been keeping it up at least once a year for a few years now. I don't know if we've got one in 2023. But last summer for sure, I think. Within the last year was our last Tortuga trip, I think.
I've been looking at. I have so many sections of so many rivers that I want to float, dude. With no time, I've mapped out and wrote them down and
just daydreaming.
Literally, just like making trips that I never will have. I might finish all these places that I want to fish and float. All of these are in South Carolina, mind you.
Yeah.
A couple are in Georgia, but like I might do them by the time I'm 50.
Right.
If I don't like start guiding.
And are they mainly like day floats, or some of them long enough where they could be a couple days?
So, definitely.
That'd be fun. I still want to do what we were talking about, hitting, what was it, Packlet River into the Broad or something. Is that what you were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be a fun float.
It's
we definitely need to plan another trip, even if it's just camping and not kayaking. That'd be a fun time. Because we were thinking about planning a trip with us couples.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it would be fun to get out.
Hannah doesn't like camping.
Yeah, that's why. So now
She's fine.
We can just do another camping trip. Yeah.
She always bitches when we go, so it's cool. No worries. I mean, just being. I love you, Hannah, but I'm just being honest.
I mean, camping can be brutal, dude.
Yeah. No, I mean it's not fucking sleeping in a Tempur-Pedic. That's for damn sure. Even the kind of camping we do, like I take her car camping. I'm not like putting a 20, 30 pound backpack on her and saying like, hey, let's march up this mountain.
Right.
It's like, hey, we drive to the campsite and I set up everything, right? Like, like you don't have to do much.
I wouldn't mind a nice car camping trip. It's been a long time. The last few times I've been camping, it's been dispersed, primitive camping. I wouldn't mind a nice little car camping.
I've found some cool spots up in the mountains that you can pull a car up to that are pretty secluded.
Let's do it.
I really have.
Let's plan a date. Set a date. I'm so down.
We should wait till it gets a little cooler.
Yeah, maybe like mid-October, early October. I don't know.
I think until I looked at the next couple of months relative weather, in October, all through the end of October, it'll start being like highs in the 75-ish range and lows in like the 62.
That's perfect.
Range.
That's perfect.
And then in November it'll start getting a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
Like in the 50s and stuff.
Although that is kind of like the perfect time to go camping.
Yeah.
When it's like 50 at night.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm. When you're just a little bit cold.
Yeah, you wake up and it's like good hoodie weather.
Yeah,
you get that fire going and get warmed up.
Because we went to the mountains like a month and a half ago ish, and it was so fucking hot and humid. It didn't get below 85 even at night. Like it was like, you know what I mean, or like 80 at night, and it was fucking hot. You know what I mean?
Dude, if we were car camping. Do you realize how luxurious of a camping trip that was?
I know.
That'd be literally when we go kayak camping, like essentially primitive camping.
We're bringing both of our.
We have a cast iron.
Oh,
we got 2 coolers. We brought steaks last time. We got my pour over coffee maker. Like it's a luxury. So if we had a car to pack all that shit in, bro.
Yeah, you can float.
I'd be bringing a cot.
Yeah,
I want to get one of those giant, like 10-man pop-up tents.
Dude, if me and you took, when we float camped, right?
Yeah.
We had a pretty nice little setup, but we still packed pretty light. We still packed pretty light. But if we had like a big raft, you can float camp in style. Like we could put one of our ovens on there. We could put we could put like a big tent. Air mattress, like you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
You could like really float in style, but
that'd be a lot of fun.
But you like the single man, like you could even do it pretty good in a canoe. But what I'm gonna buy, like after in probably 2-3 years maybe, is one of those. It's a 3-man raft, and it's got a weight capacity of like 1,200 pounds, and it's like about 14 feet ish.
Yeah.
And like maybe this wide, and you can it's
like John boat size.
Exactly. But what's great about it, we have a lot of rocky rivers in South Carolina.
It's inflatable.
It's inflatable. It's durable. It's light. You know what I mean?
That's nice.
Yeah. So it's a little bit more maneuverable than a John boat.
Dude, Quinn is going to be in Charleston. Let's see. September 10th through the 20th. So
Word.
I'll definitely go down there to see him. You're only an hour and a half away. Shit. We might as well like a day.
Hell yeah.
Get out there and see Quinn.
Yeah.
Bring the podcast shit.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah. Well, hopefully. Stay tuned.
Yeah, we should try to. We should really try to work that out.
That would be really, really fun. Because it's inevitable that we're all just going to be sitting around talking for an hour anyway. We might as well record it.
Yeah.
And, oh my God, that would be a really fun time. Hopefully he's not too busy because I know they're going to be moving a bunch of stuff. Because I believe the reason he told me that is because that means he's getting Isis back moved in with her parents temporarily, so he can go to basic in Alabama. Nice. Which still, Alabama's what, 6 to 8 hours? I think Montgomery's like 8 hours.
No, Birmingham is like 5.
Oh, really?
It's like 5 to Birmingham, yeah.
So yeah.
You just take 20 the whole way.
So I could go. I might take a trip out to see him.
You can take
when
20
he's there
or
too.
85.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be
I'd like to go to Alabama, to be honest with you. There's a bunch of places out there I'd like to fish, to be honest with you. That's a very well-known state for its diversity of wildlife because they have, it's like Georgia. Like Georgia has the Blue Ridge. It has the coastal plain. It also has the Ridge and Valley section, which is what South Carolina's missing. The big section of ridge and valleys that run through Tennessee and Georgia and Alabama. So Alabama is like Georgia in that it has, the coastal plain, it has the Ridge and Valley section, and it also has a small bit of mountains, of Appalachians.
Yeah.
But yeah, super cool area. Like we live in such a cool, like people drag on the South, but there's a reason people are prideful to be from here, man. It's like it's a beautiful garden-like place. And it's not so crazy developed yet that it's like, LA.
Right, of course.
And we have such diversity when it comes to our geological habitat. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was just describing, we have all these different kinds of terrain that bring so many different types of life. It's so cool. Like you go up, you can be in Clemson, right? That is largely it's just Piedmont, but it's at the base of the mountains. You can drive 45 minutes up, and the flora is totally different.
Yeah,
like once you get above 2,000 feet of elevation, the flora it just totally changes. It looks totally different. It doesn't look even close to the same.
I've been seeing a bunch of clips from this dude on YouTube where he talks about like making an effort to restore the indigenous grasslands.
I follow that guy.
You see that? What are your thoughts on that? Because I think that's really interesting. He says like that there used to be more grassland. Grassland used to be the number one. What's the
habitat?
Yeah, or domain or whatever. I'm trying to think.
Ecological.
Yeah. The grasslands used to be the most abundant.
It's all
ecosystem in America.
Think about the Mississippi Valley.
Yeah.
That all was Sahara, basically.
And I saw one where he was saying that
and
grassland,
now it's farmland.
Yeah. He was saying that,
but even
surprisingly,
woodland grasslands that we've had, they've been devastated by deforestation, and the way we harvest timber.
But I thought it was interesting that he said grasslands surprisingly can absorb heat, but they can actually produce a similar amount of oxygen turnover as like a pretty good forest. Like that blew my mind. That blew my mind.
Yeah.
Which I guess it makes sense because if it's on a plant by plant basis, a grassland has way more plants than a forest because each tree is taking up so much space and then it's robbing sunlight from smaller plants.
Right. Well, and think about surface area.
Yeah.
The surface area of green. The green areas are what has the ability to process carbon dioxide.
Right.
So, I mean, and like what we've done, not just to grasslands where where it's not wooded, right? We've devastated the grasslands that thrived in forests as well, right? So we've lost an aspect of our ability to process CO2 because we still have the canopy of trees that processes, but historically there's been a flourishing grassland underneath that canopy. But because of the way we chop and process and clean cut, it devastates it.
Wow. So how much? So not only are we adding, I mean, obviously I've thought of this before, but like not only are we adding greenhouse gases to our atmosphere, we're taking away a lot of the Earth's ability to process those. So it's just a double fucking whammy. We're hitting it from all angles. It sucks.
Mining and agriculture and development, like it all has an effect. And I know people get upset like with the whole global warming thing and how much impact we have, and I understand it's a visceral reaction because you hear people talking about taking away things that people love, like meat and gas, and you should not eat some of the foods that you like or use some of the products that you've come to love. Yeah. Like all these things. You shouldn't use electricity. Don't idle your car. Like all this shit. Like you hear about all these things and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, do we even really know what's going on here? And it's like the answer is no, but it's pretty undeniable at this point that we have a huge effect on our local environment. And you can't deny that. Yeah. Like think about if I go in the middle of a city, right? And I go to an asphalt parking lot, and I take the temperature of the asphalt parking lot. Yeah. What is it? Like 120, 130. 135, something like that. Yeah. And then you go... Nice medium rare. And then you go to a field. Yeah. And you take the temperature of the grass. It was like 90, 100. 110, maybe. And then you go in the tree cover. What is it then? Yeah. Like, of course we have an effect. Of course these big cities have an... Like, and that's just talking about heat sink. Like, that's not even talking about the atmosphere and the impact on the environment. Yeah, of course we have an effect. Like, of course we do. That's not the question. One of the biggest... It's a question of honing in on ways that we can improve. Right, right. Instead of trying to do it by taking away civil liberties. Like, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, for sure. And I think, like... Because people want to help. I'm sorry, I keep I think a big issue with global warming is that the term global warming, people are like, oh, it's cold today. And it's like, that's the only reason global warming took off is because that's the term that all the headlines started using. Right. Well, at the end of the day, the most accurate term is climate change. That's a very surface level of things. I know, but so many people only think surface level. I've had this conversation with my dad where I'm like, it's not global warming, it's climate change. Mm-hmm. And he's like, but aren't those two different things? I'm like, no, they're the same exact fucking thing. It just so happened that the term global warming is the one that all the headlines latched on to. And that's what everybody knows now is common nomenclature. People don't argue, and I think that's why people have shifted the term to climate change. Yeah, because global warming is not the most accurate description of what we're doing to this planet. Mm-hmm. We're making everything more extreme. The hots are going to get hotter, the colds are going to get colder, the weather's going to get way worse. And I think a lot of people get upset that they say, okay, we're cutting down on fossil fuels and we're going to cut down on meat. That's how we're going to fix this. And we're like, look, that's a very small fraction of what actually is causing what's going on Earth. Like, that's a small fraction of what's causing our strife. I believe oil tankers, one oil tanker in one trip across the ocean, I believe, I could be wrong, burns more diesel fuel than all of the cars in America combined on a daily basis. What? One oil tanker. That's not real. Making one trip across the ocean. Is it really? They burn like 50,000 gallons. That's insane. That's why we should outfit them with nuclear power, just like the tankers, or the aircraft carriers and certain battleships and submarines. I think that alone would make a huge difference to the amount of fossil fuels we use and the amount of pollution we're putting in the atmosphere. And to be honest, because there's with thousands of tankers moving on a daily basis. With ships like that, imagine like they're going to be able to do like non-manned
Yeah.
Like
There'll be a maintenance crew, but they won't
transportation.
need like true captains and
Right.
like there'll be a supervisor and a maintenance crew.
Because
And
what they can do with GPS now and directional
Yeah.
technology is fucking wild. Like, so even if people are like, "Oh, you don't want to put nuclear power," there's gonna be, shut up. Like,
that's the dumbest argument. Nuclear power is so safe.
first of all, we have nuclear power all over. Second of all, it's we
It's
need to try to
so-
diversify.
Do you know that I only know this because Brett studied nuclear engineering for a little while. Everybody who works in a nuclear facility wears a monitor, a radiation monitor. Do you know that their maximum allotted amount of radiation before they would send you home because you've been exposed to too much radiation working in a nuclear facility is less than the amount of radiation you would get from being out in the sun all day?
I buy that.
They literally will send you home because they're like, oh, you went over the daily limit. But if you just went home and sat outside all day, you would get more. Like, that's how controlled and regulated this is.
Or our sun is just a giant radiation machine.
Well, I mean, it's just like people think it's so. We only, obviously, when it fails catastrophically. So we often only remember that. But then think about
Well, they
all
also
of those systems.
built those fucking in the 70s.
That's what I was about to say.
In the 80s.
And then, I mean, the biggest one, Chernobyl, was built by the Soviet Union, who was obviously, they only built the most quality products. Only the most reliable and high quality and fail-safe products that have ever been made by mankind definitely came out of the Soviet Union, for sure.
Yeah, I hear their cars are making a comeback.
Really?
No.
Because that was actually what does Russia manufacture nowadays other than like
Wheat.
oil? Really?
Wheat and oil, yeah. Yeah. And a lot of minerals.
Yeah, that's why their military is kind of failing right now.
They have a lot of small towns situated around mines. Like they people don't set up communities there to like, oh, this is, we'll make this gentrified.
Yeah.
They have a lot of little tiny towns that are built around a mill. Like I'm sorry, not a mill, like a mine operation.
Yeah.
Like kind of like how our communities used to be situated around mills.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Except it's a little kind of more, the mining communities are a little bit more gross. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
I think I've mentioned this before, probably not on here, but do you know that Monarch Mill, when it was running as a cotton mill in the late 1800s, was the single biggest producer of cotton in North America, I think in the world? The Monarch Mill.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, during the late 1800s was the single biggest producer of, processed cotton in the entire planet.
I'm sure
on
it
the
was.
entire planet. That's wild though to think about here in Little Old Union. Like our history is so rich here.
It's a garden.
It's so rich here.
It's a giant garden.
Because my granddaddy would send his cotton up to that mill. I mean, it's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, they had the supply. That's for damn sure.
Oh, this place used to be covered in cotton.
Our entire coastal plain.
Wild.
Rice and cotton, cousin.
Rice, cotton, indigo, wheat.
Indigo, yeah.
Man, what's our biggest cash crop in South Carolina nowadays? Probably like soybeans.
I think corn.
Soybeans and corn. I know there's a lot of soybeans going down towards the coast.
We don't do as much fruit as we used to. We do supply fruit as well, but it's mostly
Tobacco's
corn.
a big one here.
Yeah, I see tobacco.
Corn's probably the
You
biggest.
still see cotton.
Yeah, there's still a little cotton bouncing around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like soybeans.
Peaches are a big one.
We do more peaches than Georgia.
Yeah, marijuana.
I mean, actually, there
Seriously.
because I believe in 2017 is when they started opening up South Carolina to hemp growers legally. You could apply if you already had like your farmers.
Clemson's
licenses
getting
and shit.
paid to do research on cannabis, dude.
Great.
They're getting paid a dick ton of money to do cannabis research.
But weed is still illegal here.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
And they're doing like on bud production. They're not just doing research on like hemp production. They're doing research on bud production.
Dude, I don't how is it still Schedule 1 federally?
It's insane.
It is the stupidest thing. Isn't like
It's so weird.
like what
Like they've granted universities the ability to study, and then some. It's just fucking weird.
Yeah, it, like, first of all, they're granting universities the right to study it, and then it's still Schedule 1 means it has it is zero medical use whatsoever.
Yeah, how would they not change that?
It's so stupid. It's got to be lobbyists still. It's got to be lobbyists. Because hemp, for not even smoking weed, just hemp would revolutionize our relationship with manufacturing and the environment. Because you can make fibers from hemp, you can derive oil from hemp to make plastics, you can... I mean, it's medicine, just not even just weed. Smoking weed is fucking medicine. Obviously, it helps so many people in so many different ways.
Some people eat it.
But just
like nutritionally.
There's so many things that it would completely, like, biodegradable clothing, like all of these things, and then hemp farming is gonna be better for the environment than, say, farming like a fucking...
Maybe, I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure. I haven't looked into it in a while, but I'm pretty sure, like, it's way better than, like, Roundup Ready corn. You know?
I really, really, really try to get... Because I eat a lot of fruit and meat, and I've really been trying to get organic stuff just because I've been freaked out by pesticides lately.
Yeah.
It's more. I mean, it's a little bit more expensive, but
yeah. When I was a kid, I did a deep dive into, like, Monsanto and Roundup Ready, and that was, like, really what started getting me into a, like, conspiratorial mindset.
I mean, that's what people are talking about glyphosate. You know what I mean?
Right. Because they literally made it. It's Roundup Ready so that they can just dump pesticides on it, and it doesn't kill the corn, but it kills literally every other thing around it, and then they feed that to us.
I mean, it's not just corn. It's wheat also.
Insane is that?
It's wheat also.
So. I know that you can
buying
get
organic wheat is good.
Right. So is King Arthur's is there they do organic, or is it just whole wheat, or because their standard
they do both.
Their standard line, I'm sure, has some
you can get organic
bad wheat in it.
Oh yeah, you can get organic or inorganic.
Okay. Because I usually just buy the standard King's Arthur AP flour.
That's probably not glyphosate free.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. I mean, I've bought it too. I think I have some.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's still way better than buying store-bought bread with all the other bullshit in it to keep it moist for months.
Yeah. That's weird. It's really fucking weird.
Man.
Have you had to turn the... Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I did once, yeah. So we're probably coming up on like 45 minutes, 50 minutes.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, it's so many things to think about.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Last week's episode was so just off the wall.
We needed help.
Oh,
we needed a guest spot.
It had been a long day for the both of us.
Yeah.
I'd been in my car for about 4.5 hours that day.
Yeah.
And then spent the next day in my car for probably about 7.
You saw the state, dude.
It's been a long week.
You went from fucking mountains to sea.
Yeah, I really did. I went from Hendersonville to Charleston. And the time frame, a 24-hour time frame. Fun though. I love it. I love driving. Like I don't have shower thoughts. I have driving thoughts. Like that's when I think the most clearly. That's when I have the best ideas and really can brainstorm.
You know what I find that was really good for my creativity? When I get home from work and I start talking to Hannah, because some days I don't. Some days I don't like get into conversation. But sometimes when there's things that are on my mind, like I'll just talk to her, because she does it to me all the time. Like she'll just talk, and like I'll
just vent out all the ideas and frustrations or whatever, and whatever.
So it's like I'm comfortable with her. I can say whatever.
Right.
Like I don't worry about like offending anybody. Like I'm not talking about.
You don't have to censor yourself.
Right. I just talk about shit, and I'll make jokes and whatever, even if they're really bad. Like I can make them around her. So like I've found that after getting home from work, where I'm like cooped up in my office all day, you know, you're thinking about bullshit and you're having to talk like office like. When I get home, I'll like kind of little like open up that pathway, because it's harder for me to like write, but like when I'm talking, like it's easier for me to like let my just what I'm feeling flow.
Right. I know what you mean.
Because when I'm writing, it's a little bit more it's a little bit more heady.
Right.
But when you're talking, for some reason, it's a little bit more instinctual. Like you don't have to think about necessarily.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because when you're talking, you can backtrack and you can like, if you're saying something like you get what I'm saying. If there's like no, then you can just reformulate and how you explain it so they can understand it. But like if you're writing something down, it's like this has to fully get my point across in a sentence. You need to leave it up for the least amount of interpretation as possible in a lot of cases. So writing does definitely need to be more concise, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. But like I struggle writing song lyrics, dude. I've been really, really struggling to come up with some lyrics, man. Really struggling.
It's hard.
So difficult.
It's because I feel like there's so much music that it's like hard to be original. It's hard.
And I typically like sing, like if I'm just wanting to come up, like just singing nonsense over a song to kind of try and come up with a melody. So often I find myself like coming to the same words and like saying a lot of the same things, and to try and step back and write something that's not just what comes to me, but make it like portray a point that I'm trying to get across. I find that's really difficult. Really difficult.
Very difficult to convey an emotion, because lots of times what you're trying to paint the picture of like a scenario,
right?
Almost, or a feeling, And I've noticed that with Kill Tony, right? Like sometimes the best material the person gives
is in the interview
when he's asking details about a particular story. You know what I mean? He'll be like, so wait, what the fuck happened? Like, let's paint this out. Like, let's really, like, chronologically, specifically tell me the details of the story, because so many people, it's so hard to like be clear and concise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's what a lot of people struggle with, and that's what he really has shown me. It's like, paint a picture, be descriptive, like,
but cut the fat.
Yeah,
that's the biggest one that all the comedians really harp on. Is like, listen, that's why I encourage you to write 15 and cut it down to 5, because the hardest thing to do is cut all of the unnecessary things that's wasting time and just hit the points and get straight through the story as quick as possible.
Because like Hans Kim, he's good, right? He's like punch, 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 punch. In that 1 minute, he'll have like 6 jokes.
Yeah, it's
not like he's telling a little 30-second story to make one joke at the end of the 60 seconds. It's like joke, 15,
And I would argue until you've gotten good enough to where you can start doing 15-minute sets and like features or like opening. If you're just doing open mics and you're getting 3 to 5 minutes, you need that format of just joke.
Yeah.
Like maybe a setup, but then if you're doing setups in that small amount of time, your setups need to have punchlines.
It has
need
to
have
punchy.
tags, in your setup that can really lead up, and then you get the big hit and the true punchline.
Mm-hmm. I like story. I like when people go up there and do a little short story that is punched up. It might have like 4 little tags in there. I like when people do that
style.
But I love Tony always does this. He's like, "Tell me about you. Just tell me about you."
Yeah.
And like that's kind of where like you have to start. It seems like.
Yeah.
Because you have to figure out if you want to be a true artist,
right?
You have to get in touch with where you're coming from. Because if you're constantly just like, I don't know, like thinking about how other people do it or what people might want to hear, it's disingenuous.
I also think that's true. I mean, like you were saying, but with all art forms, it obviously starts with the quality of the art, but I feel like it very quickly moves. You latch on to personalities. So many artists, they get a small break because they had like one good art piece, and then people realize what their passion is, and they realize how passionate they are, and a big thing is like if you see like, oh, he's a good dude. Like if you're an artist or like anybody who I can look at your art and enjoy what you do, and then also it's like, he's a good dude. Whether it be like he's super friendly, he's helping out other artists, maybe he donates to certain causes, maybe he's just a cool dude to talk to and he's an open-minded guy. Like all of those personality traits, I think, allow an artist to be that much more like you can latch on to them that much more easily. And then there's so many artists that get into that, and then they just continue to make really, really good art, but they gain that following because people truly know, they feel like they know who they are as a person. And like I feel like I've watched enough interviews with Tyler the Creator to where like I can get a good judge of who, like, he cares about music above everything else. Seems like a really genuine dude, really speaks his mind. He's not afraid to speak his mind. He's an independent artist. Like that type of thing I latch on to. And I'm like, those are the artists that I begin to say that's my favorite artist. That's how it was with Mac Miller. Even as wild as that motherfucker was, but it still like seemed like he was just a genuine dude. He obviously wasn't chasing hits. He was making what he felt like was good. And like anything with that. Same thing with painters, same thing with podcasters. Like, I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. Are you a cool personality? Can I watch you?
Are you authentic?
Authentic.
Do you care about what you're talking about?
One.
Do you believe what you're saying?
Yeah. Even like video game. Like, so I was talking to somebody about watching gamers on like YouTube or Twitch, or like watching streamers, and I've said like it's rarely about the video game. You know, I've found certain YouTubers who are video game YouTubers, but I like them and their personality,
right,
and I will watch their channel regardless of what they're playing. Mm-hmm. And I think that really is across the board in art. Is like, I don't care what you're doing, I'm going to pay attention because I like you as a person, and I want to follow your work, and I want to support what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think that's true in all art forms. I think that's true in comedy, of course. Like, the reason Tom's my favorite comic right now is because of how much he's opened up. Like, you know so much about him as a person through his podcast and through all of this, and like then you're able to enjoy his stand-up that much more. And like, I just think that is a huge thing when in any form of art, is like it's so much about putting yourself out there and being genuine about who you are and reflecting that through your art. Like, and that's not easy to do. And I like, it's not like,
because the temptation is to be like, what's gonna get me famous, or what's gonna make me successful,
chase hits.
Like, exactly, like it's a different thing. Yeah. It's like a different endeavor. You know what I mean? Because like we were talking about this before, I think we've talked about this for sure. Like Elvis, right?
Yeah.
He didn't get to be like he was his personality, and obviously he put himself into what he did. But like, it wasn't like he was artistically free.
No,
you know
not
what
at
I
all.
mean?
Not at all.
It's not like he got to like, you know, and I understand it's easier with a team to like, you know, help write songs or produce music. Like, it's obvious, you know, it makes the process easier and more streamlined, I guess, maybe.
And there's a challenge there when you're working under a label, because obviously you're free to make whatever you want, but you can only release certain things. The label's only going to allow you to release certain things, and then obviously certain labels are a lot better than others in giving freedom to their employees or clients, I guess would be the term.
But like, I don't like watching news, right?
I don't,
because it's like, I don't know if you believe what you're saying.
They never do.
I don't really know if
they're reading a teleprompter. You know, like, they're not the journalists. They're fucking like, they might as well be AI just reading whatever's in front of them. They're not. And like, we've talked about the news anchor accent. It doesn't matter where you go in the country, all the news people talk the same. Like, we're in South Carolina, when you watch the news, they don't speak with Southern accents at all. Everybody sounds like they're from LA, you know, like,
for sure.
So obviously it's so fake. It's so fake.
And I think that's, you know, like DeSantis, he's been getting made fun of, like, you know, just for his flopping personality.
But yeah.
He's running for president.
Yeah.
And
I'm not looking forward to next year.
Yeah, no kidding. But he's running for president, and like, that's like, he's constantly, like, it feels like he's just trying to play the part and walk the line. Like, he's not being himself. You know, like some of these other candidates, they're just, you know, they don't really have to, like, wait, what's the answer to this question again? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's like, wait. What's our stance on this? Like,
that's why.
Like, what's the issue?
And this isn't political, but that's why I really like watching Elon Musk's interviews, is because he truly, like, he takes the time, he thinks about what he's going to say. You see him kind of looking off in the distance, and then he formulates an answer. And that's such a beautiful way to conduct a conversation, instead of some interview or debate where you have a set amount of time that you've got to like get your thought out, and then half the time that thought is backed by some agenda that you don't, and then you want to make sure you get the right voters, so you want to not say certain things to turn certain voters off. It's like, just speak your mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like what we're talking about with artists. Like, if I see a candidate being themselves and being authentic, they're going to have my vote. Instead of just being
100%
another fucking politician.
That's what matters the most. I'm not voting for a party.
Right.
Like, I want to vote for a person.
And
I want to vote for, like, the same thing with the entertainment. Like, you don't want to, like, oh, I like this, this style of music, or I'm only going to listen to this genre of music. It's
Right.
like, no, like, fuck that. Like,
Dude, my extent of, like, that's something I'm actually, like, oddly prideful of, is how much variety of music I truly enjoy.
Me too, yeah.
Like, everybody says they'll listen to everything, but I mean, I'll truly, like, there's so much country music I love. There's a lot of good country music getting made nowadays, and I used to be somebody who was like, I hate country. All country sucks, especially modern country. Like, I always like the greats,
People are getting out of that.
like Merle Haggard,
Yeah.
I always love the classics, but like
People are getting out of that, like, punchy, systematic country music. They're getting back into
country
that
pop.
soulful, that fucking
blues
yeah.
country versus pop country.
Right,
It's a
like-
big difference.
Like, you got, like, Culture Wall and Zach Bryan and this, Oliver,
Right.
what's Oliver?
Anthony.
Oliver Anthony. Like, all these, like, Tyler Childers, Sturgill.
Yeah.
Like, there's these characters that are breaking the mold of
When's
that.
the last time Jamie Johnson put out an album? Because he was a good motherfucker. In Color,
Oh, yeah.
he was always a...
Man, he seemed like a homeboy.
He was like,
seemed
I
like a
saw him in concert.
homeboy.
He was like, that's another one. He just seems like himself.
Stapleton's unique.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just get, like, there's these country music icons that put out, like, a particular kind of song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a lot of people who ruin the name of country, like Florida
But
Georgia Line.
A lot of people like that.
It's like, no, you're not country. Stop it. You're pop. Stop being country. Stop calling
right.
yourself
Well,
country.
they're using the country. They're using the country format to do
Yeah.
pop music.
Well, that's the thing. The lines
Like,
and genres
pop
are blind.
music.
Like, I release music, and when I release music, I have to choose what genre, and it allows you to pick one main genre and two like subgenres, and the genres are like 50 different genres deep. Like, there's there's hip hop, there's rap, there's trap, there's indie rap, there's like hardcore rap, there's
Gangster.
drill rap, there's gangster rap, there's all like, and then that's not even getting into like, there's pop, there's indie pop, there's alt pop, there's
Right.
alternative, just in general. It's so vast that like most of mine, I consider it like indie pop. But now, hopefully, with my next album, it's not going to be indie pop, because I'm wanting to move away from the poppiness. I don't like the poppiness.
See, to me, pop just means, like, what is the popular culture?
That is where the term stemmed from, but now it's become its own thing. Where pop is like just this, like, it's not like it doesn't really fall into another category. So like a Justin Bieber type, or like anything that you probably hear on the radio is just going to be pop, unless it's rap. But like,
I'm gonna be real. I like some of Justin's new songs. Like, I like Holy. I like the acoustic version. Like, I'm not so much a fan of the radio version. But like with him, his vocals plus like guitar, bass, piano, drums. Man, that's a good fucking song.
Or like Ed Sheeran. Like that doesn't really, you could put it in the category of like singer-songwriter. You could put it in the category of almost a little bit folky in some ways, but then his is so over the top with the production on the back end that it becomes just it's poppy.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer folk or like indie. It's because obviously it's not indie once you are in giant studios making super hits. It's not indie anymore.
What's that? Dua Lipa?
I think that's it.
Dua Lipa.
I'm sure I've heard music from her, but I couldn't name a song.
She sings that Levitating.
I don't know.
God, that bitch is hot as fuck.
I couldn't think of her face. I can't think of a single song.
I mean I'm levitating. I want you. You want me, baby.
Oh yeah.
My sugar boo.
Oh
my honey boo. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like I said, I'm sure I've heard it, but yeah, that is almost like a pop R&B in a way.
Yeah, it's definitely got that R&B.
So it's weird. It's just weird. Like there's so many genres.
Dude, her Tiny Desk is the most watched by like a pretty good margin.
That's awesome.
113 million views.
Jesus.
That song's tight though. I like that song. It's a good fucking song.
But yeah, like I'll go from Zach Bryan to 21 Savage to like
I was
Turnstile.
listening to old 21 on the way up here.
Like I'll literally go from the most like laid back Americana folk, like Wild Child, to then like screamo, like rock, and then I love classic. I've been really getting back into classic rock, dude. Like
I've been getting into more hip hop lately.
me and Barry watched School of Rock last night.
Really?
And I put on some Zeppelin. I was like, I'm in the mood, dude. It got me going. Little
Zeppelin.
AC/DC.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Damn, that's cool.
Yeah, School of Rock is good. We were kind of going back watching old TV show. Like, dude, we watched Tom and Jerry. Do you know when the first season of Tom and Jerry was made?
It's like 54.
46.
Oh, okay.
That's wild that we were watching that as kids on Cartoon Network or Boomerang or whatever.
I looked for it.
Oh, it was awesome. I love Tom and Jerry. But we were watching it and it was hilarious. The jokes for the adults.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's so funny. Like
a
there was
lot of people were like, oh, that's violent.
Dude, that's what I was thinking. I said that. I was like, dude, if they showed this nowadays, you'd have pansy ass moms like, oh, that's too violent. We can't show that. And it's like, but one of the jokes is it was Sherry. There was like the French one where he's fighting Tom. He's like, on guard. And he walks outside and he can't find the cat. I think it was that episode. And he's like, pussy, 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 pussy. But it's French, so I don't know what the word for cat in French is. But it's just so funny.
Probably not pussy.
Probably not pussy. But like they constantly call him Pussycat, and he's like, here, pussy, pussy, pussy. It's so funny. And I'm like, I don't know if that was intentional, but it had to. And then another episode was like,
man, pussy's like a cat. You can't wrangle that motherfucker.
Independent creature.
Oh, Jesus. That thing's got a mind of its own. You ain't going to tame that motherfucker.
We went back and watched a bunch of original episodes of South Park. Did you ever watch Squidbillies?
Not really.
Dude, it is hilarious.
I remember you watching it
it's so
in high school.
funny.
You were watching that in high school, right?
Yeah, we went back and watched after the fourth season, or probably like the third season, they really start dying off. But dude, like I don't know, there's 13 seasons. I don't know who the fuck approved Squidbillies for 13 seasons, but the first 2 seasons knock it out of the park. They are so. I told Barry, I was like, that had to have been written by somebody who grew up like that. You don't hit the nail on the head that hard without growing up in the redneck South.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is so perfect. Like the best line is he's going to church and he's like, God is gooder than hell. It's so funny. It's just this. It's so simple, but the redneck accent is hit like fucking perfectly executed. Like in the whole concepts, the plots for the first episodes, they're so funny. One episode was about the big gay throwdown was coming to town.
That's funny.
And early Kyler's like, I forget, the sheriff was gay, and he was like, we're gonna move somewhere where we're legally allowed to drive. That's the whole joke was gays weren't allowed to drive.
Oh my God, that's funny.
And then the animation is so terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like the animation is just garbage, poorly drawn characters, terrible animation, and I'm like, nothing matters as long as it's funny. Nothing matters as long as it's funny.
That's a great point.
And then, so I literally, as I was watching Squidbillies, I texted Quinn. I was like, we need to make a Squidbillies style animation because that's totally within my skill set to animate on that level. And Quinn could come up with the plots. Me and you could punch up with some jokes.
Right.
And then just get a concept. The first concept, the premise he hit me with was if it was like an alien civilization came to Earth and they had been watching us for a long time, so they knew a little bit about our culture, but they didn't know everything about our culture. So they would ask us like I think one example Quinn gave is they asked like, "What's that? Why are those people always going so fast in that big red truck?" And he was like, "What you mean? You mean the fire truck?" He's like, "Yeah, like." What are we doing? Why are they putting out all these perfectly good fires? and he's like, we should fight those people. And it's like the next scene, the guy has a shirt that says firefighter, fighter.
We need to harness the power of the fire.
But I said just because I'm inspired by Squidbillies and country accent's the only one I can do. I'm like, the aliens are going to be rednecks. The aliens are for sure going to be rednecks.
No, dude.
And he said, yeah, they come from Arkansas, but just not our Arkansas.
Oh, that's funny. That would be funny. Like if you had like the let's imagine some alien. I'm sure this has already been done, but like the aliens that are like the bumfuck aliens that are going on the cosmic road trip, and they like run into Earth. You know what I mean?
And then, another
They're
joke,
like here to tour Earth.
he was like, one of the humans was like, "What's up? Are you guys in control of all these fucking UFOs we've been seeing?" And the alien's just like, "Nah, man, that shit happens on our planet too. We don't know what the fuck that is."
It's like we thought that was y'all shit.
Oh, what's funny is Quinn came up with that Arkansas joke, and on the episode of Squidbillies, one of them I was watching, and they had aliens come in and contact them, and the aliens were from the planet Alabama. And it like showed a picture of their planet, and it's just like the shape of the state Alabama with like Saturn's rings around it. It's so Alabama. It's so funny.
Jesus.
It's so funny.
And that is a pretty funny premise.
I love stupid. I would like to do the premise that I told you of the movie where the octopuses are actually the aliens, and then like the octopuses that have been spotted by people or like the rogue aliens that have lost the technology of the octopuses, and technically they're underwater coming up with gravity propulsion systems, but then they've influenced our culture. So the whole point of the movie would be the aliens like come home, and he's like taking off his blazer, throwing his keys on the table, and watching like ONN, like Octopus News Network, and like bitching at the news. And then they make themselves known to us, and we're like shocked that they're so much like our culture. And they're like, "No, we taught you all of this."
How to polish your beak for better profile. It's like some shit like that.
That's a good joke for that, dude.
But
that'd be one of the commercials on ONN.
Right,
just
right,
like
right.
Botox for
Yeah.
octopuses.
How to shape your tentacles, like shit like that.
Oh,
Like,
man.
are you doing this exercise? This is the tentacle grab. Like shit like that.
And then I was saying, you could really, if you wanted to, you could throw it all the way back to the stoned ape theory. And the octopus were like, they found us as monkeys and they gave us mushrooms so that they could evolve us, because they needed land animals to develop electricity and to harness electromagnetism.
Right.
Because they came from a water planet where they can't handle electricity.
Right.
Because they're all underwater. But then
Dude,
that's
TV
why they
TV
came
shows
up.
TV shows are tough.
Oh, yeah.
That's tough.
That's why they came up with a gravity propulsion system, and then they found a borderline intelligent species and gave us magic mushrooms to get all smarter so that we would come up with electricity. And then I guess the finale would be like the humans and the octopuses come together, and we have gravity propulsion with electricity. And now we just take over the universe or something. I don't know.
That's fucking crazy.
I thought I schemed out that whole premise. I was like, that would be hilarious. That'd be a movie though. That'd be a lot harder than doing like a 10-minute episode of just a little animated
just a
sketch.
Yeah. I've been thinking of this bit of like the first female president being a transgender man that like really wants to change politics, and he gets into office and he's got all of these things he wants to accomplish, or she wants to
Has
accomplish.
nobody taken that angle yet?
I have no idea.
Because there's the whole joke about women, like, they want to be open and all this, and like you're just allowing men to rule you even
Right.
more by calling themselves women.
So yeah,
Somebody's got to have taken that angle on the presidency. I feel like
probably.
that seems like an obvious one.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't have thought of it, but when you say it like that, I was like, oh, that's a good,
yeah.
I feel like somebody's got to be scheming on that.
I haven't heard it, but I'm sure someone has. But like, so she gets into office, right? And she's got all these things she wants to accomplish, right? Like trans rights and like environmental stuff, or like she wants to take back war. And she gets into office and she's like, wait. How many dicks do I have to suck to make this happen? Let's make a schedule. Okay, let's make a schedule. We need to have all the dicks lined up so we can knock this out efficiently, right? We want to really make things happen. We need to get the dick sucking in. We're going to dick suck our way to a better America.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
The only issue, the hole I find in that premise is that why do you assume there needs to be that many dicks sucked when we've only had male presidents?
What do you mean?
No. How come the first female president that's a trans is automatically like, oh, to get shit done, I have to suck dicks? It's been all male presidents. That's not been a thing. So how come the first? And she's like, all right, if we want to get shit done, we're sucking dicks.
It could be a normal president. It could be a normal president. Like let's say that they wanted to not have war during their term. No war during their term, right? And he's like, I have to suck this contractor's dick. I have to suck the FBI's dick. I have to suck these 3 generals' dicks. Like, Jesus, that's a lot of dicks I got to suck. Holy shit. A trans person would be more likely to get the job done. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if it's a trans woman, like they'd be more, I'm assuming, maybe they're a gay trans person. They don't like dick.
How does that work?
But if they're
I'm a man and I transition to a woman to become a lesbian.
I'm gonna assume that the transsexual female, so it's a man who turned into a woman.
Right.
I'm gonna assume that she's straight and she likes to suck dick. Okay.
Right.
There we go. We're gonna make a lot of shit happen.
Yeah, I guess you could.
I think we need to get a trans woman into office.
Yeah, because she'd be the best at it if I had to assume.
Right. Just give her a huge
She's
fake
got
rack,
personal experience,
a nice gold wig. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to line these generals up. We're going to line these CIA agents up. We're going to line up Big Pharma.
And we're getting everybody on the same page.
Everybody's dick sucked. Sorry. I'm done. We'll move on. I'm sorry. I got to take a piss.
There
dude.
might be something there. We can finish it out. We're probably an hour and 15.
Word.
Oh, man. That was a fun episode. We kept it going. I mean, it wasn't very... We talked for like 15 minutes about cars in the beginning.
Yeah, it was light.
A fun episode.
It was light.
Light little episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're in double digits, baby.
Double digits.
Moving on up. Just going.
We're about to rack.
Keep going from here. Hell yeah.
All right.
Sweet.
So
Thank you guys.
One of you trans people, y'all need to step up. Okay. Run for president. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anybody.
Obviously, I'm voting based on the character of the individual.
Absolutely.
That'd be a very hard vote to get a lot of people on board with.
How dare you?
I'm not speaking.
How dare you?
I'm not speaking for me. I'm just saying. I live in South Carolina. I know a lot of people that aren't going to vote for her.
Peace and love, people. Keep it real.
Episodes every Thursday. Tune in next week. Love you guys.